So, like a lot of people, I like to split my code up into proper separate layers. Virtual slice architectures come along recently, and I thought I knew what it was, but it seems not. People are actually putting the code from different levels all in one file or all in one folder, just because that makes it easier to navigate. And I can understand that the navigation is a pain. It really is. So if I've got like my API contract, I look in features, customers, I've got create command, create response. Let's say I've just added update. So I'd have to go in here, create an update folder and a command and a response. And then where do I go next? Oh, I'll need to go into the application level, and in customers I'll need a update command handler there. And yeah, of course I'd need some unit tests. In the Blazor client, I'm going to need some user interface. This is usually where the virtual slice architecture people put all of their code in. I don't like that. Then there's domain. You've got your customer. Then there's the persistence down here. There's your repository. Obviously, there's no coding. These are just an exercise in navigating, not actually writing the code. Then there's the unit test, and then finally you've got your API layer there at the end, and then we've got like there's an endpoint, some code. Wouldn't really need to do this. You'd probably just have one class that just said register this get, register this post endpoint, but I'm just putting it in there for the sake of completeness, really. I probably wouldn't actually do this last bit. But anyway, as you can see, it's a real pain having to navigate up and down all over the place. And this is just one domain class with two use cases, create and update. What happens when you've got 50 domain entities, each having even just having CRUD on them? It's just so, the list becomes massive. It's a real pain. So I started working on Feature Explorer, and what that does is it looks for a folder called features in all of the projects, and if there is one, then it mushes its contents all together into this Feature Explorer. So as you can see here, under customers, we've got customer unit tests, and customer repository. So if I haven't got this working yet, if you click on that, it's going to focus in Solution Explorer and vice versa, and double clicking will open it up in there. But at the moment I'm just doing the merging of the contents. So if you look for customer, that would be in domain under customers. There's customer. The repository, that's under persistence, customers folder, customer repository, customers folder, customer repository. And then if I've got API contracts, I've got customers create command, customers create command, create response. I've got the create command handler. I've got the unit test for the handler. I've got the user interface, and then I've got the API endpoint. So the idea is this makes it easy to look at your application in vertical slices without having to, well, I consider it committing a sin of putting all of your code in your user interface level. You won't have to do that. From here, not only will you be able to edit existing ones and navigate quickly, I'm going to do it so that you can right click and say create a new file in this project, that project, or that project. So you're not even going to have to go across each one when you're adding stuff in. You'll just be able to add it here and say, I want this one added into the Blazor layer, or I want this one added into the domain unit tests, or what have you. And the idea is it acts like the files are all grouped physically this way, when they're not. They're spread out across different projects, so you can navigate to them nice and easily, but you don't end up with unit tests built into your domain and things like that. It doesn't work that way. They're still built completely separately, as seen over here. They're all still nice clean architecture. It's just that with Feature Explorer you can browse it in a way like virtual slice architecture, so you kind of get the best of both there. And this does support like adding files and stuff or unloading projects. So if you look at API endpoint, I've got one for update and one for create. If I unload the web API server, unload project, you'll notice the API endpoints disappear. If I unload unit tests, you'll notice that the unit tests are going to disappear. And if I add them all back in, reload projects, there you go, they're all back in. And if I were to go in here and do customers delete, Control Shift A, customer, not customers, delete backslash, so delete command.cs, and you'll see that appear over here on the left. Delete command, and then add delete response. There it is in the application layer. As I said earlier, I would just be able to right click and say add delete command handler to the application, but I haven't got that yet, so I'm having to do it the old way. Delete backslash delete command handler, and then once I do, right click and say I want to create it in this folder, in this project, it will then pop up and appear in there, even though those are in different projects completely.